It's good to see you, Glenn.
Hello.
When you look at this leak, how it was put out there on this social media platform for gamers, and little tidbits have come from U.S. officials in the press saying that they think this might have been one tranche of documents, like a one-time thing potentially. What are your thoughts? What do you see when you look at all this?
Well, the documents cover a broad enough array of subjects to make me think that it is more likely this is a real leak and intelligence problem than a disinformation campaign by most likely it would be the Russians. It's so hard to create foolproof frauds on different subjects that makes me think this is a real problem. Since 9/11, over 20 years now, there has been a vast expansion of the number of individuals in the United States national security establishment with clearances and access to information of this sort, many of whom are contractors rather than staff career employees, as I was. And frankly, it's harder, exponentially harder to control and maintain security in that circumstance. So there's someone who is either working for a foreign service or a malcontent who has decided that he or she knows better than the entire system what the public should know or what the United States government should be doing. But it is from an intelligence perspective and possibly from a policy one, a terrible problem. What's called in the CIA a flap. When something goes wrong, this is a big flap.
You know, it's incredible with all of the capability of U.S. intelligence and the successes that it does have, the fact that, is there a mechanism inside to identify those who are malcontents and who are at risk of doing something like this?
Gosh, well, the answer is that there are many, many endlessly ongoing efforts to address this problem and to identify before something happens who might be starting to stray. That there certainly is. I, as a normal CIA officer, had regular, every 2 years or so, automatic background investigations into me to see if, why was my bank account larger than my pay could justify? Or was I having problems at home? Was I expressing psychological troubles and so on? So the effort is totally legitimate and important and ceaseless, but it isn't perfect.
You know, what do you think is the worst thing about this? Because you have a sort of smorgasbord of every issue. You have sources and methods revealed. You have the issue of spying on allies. And you have, very specific information that could impact the battlefield in Ukraine. What bothers you the most about what came out of this?
Yeah, well, all of the above are correct. The least concern to me, and it always garners a lot of publicity when a problem like this occurs, is that allies of the United States learn that the United States is conducting intelligence operations and collecting information about them. This is sort of like discovering that there's gambling going on in a casino. I mean, this is the way of the world, and it's not particularly alarming. And countries know to try to protect their secrets. That's not a big issue. What is a big issue, however, is, and it's not just from a narrow intelligence perspective, probably people are going to be killed as a result of this. Because when you know a bit of information, and a service knows some information, you can narrow down who had access to that information and when. And you can start to identify who has shared this information, in this instance with the United States. And then you can arrest them, imprison them, or kill them. Also, it shows America's plans, what we know, what we don't know, what we seek to know, how we know it, where we have our attention focused. All of that has huge policy ramifications, which is quite grave. This is a serious problem for the U.S.
Yeah, I mean, it's incredible to see in nearly real time how the U.S. has granular information inside the Russian military machine. Just fascinating. Glenn, your insights are so valuable. Thanks a million.
Anytime.